I'm gonna have to manifest me a meeting with Mr. Brad Garlinghouse because me and this guy, we tend to think alike. Listen, remember in the summer when I told you guys we need to turn our attention towards U.S.-based crypto companies? This was actually in spring when I started saying this. I knew the election was coming up. Both Trump and Kamala were both talking about crypto-related policies. Trump, of course, the more heavier of the two. But the number one reason I wanted you to pay attention to US based crypto companies from a market perspective was because I knew had things gone in our way, which we see they have, it was going to cause a ripple effect. Now, I was watching Fox Business this weekend. Brad Garlinghouse is in an interview. And around the minute and a half mark, he confirms exactly what I said, guys. Take a listen.
Market sell-off, but not for XRP. It is exploding toward the $1 mark. Right now, it stands at 87 cents. This is a gain of 4.5%, as investors in the seventh largest cryptocurrency are optimistic about the future of the now $3 trillion industry under a Trump presidency. The blockchain payments company Ripple, which uses XRP to enable transactions, jumped dramatically since election night. And it saw big surges earlier this week on speculation that its CEO held a meeting with the president-elect following his victory, and speculation that anti-crypto SEC chief Gary Gensler might soon announce his resignation, which we just talked about with former SEC director Norm Champ. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse is here in a Fox Business exclusive in studio to discuss all of this. Okay, a 70% gain since Election Day. Let me guess, you are a Donald Trump fan, at least, of a presidency as he oversees a crypto world that he's very open-armed to.
For sure. Like, what a difference 10 days makes. We, for years in the United States, have had an attack on the crypto industry. It's been war. And we finally, I think, have a crypto president. The crypto industry has embraced Trump. Trump has embraced the crypto industry.
He really has. He really has.
I think it's very genuine. And I think he sees the opportunity. He sees innovation. He sees entrepreneurship. And look, I'm very excited about what the future holds. I'll point out, you were saying that XRP is up 70+%. Since Election Day, the best performing crypto assets are all U.S. companies or U.S. technologies. This shouldn't be a surprise. The United States SEC has been manipulating and putting pressure on these U.S. companies, U.S. technologies, and now that pressure comes off and they explode upwards. So we shouldn't be surprised by that.
I am not at all. I am not at all, Brad. Listen, I'm going to show you some information that is going to back this up. And I'm also going to share with you the ramifications of this, because things have been in place for a number of years in preparation for this moment. Before we dive into this, let me introduce myself. Happy Sunday to you. Happy afternoon. My name is Wade. You're listening to another edition of the DHN Crypto Podcast. I've been in the space since 2019, and I've researched over 1,000 digital assets. The main reason I run this show is to give this information to the people. All I ask in return is you hit that like button. Not for me, though. Let's do it for crypto. So let's double down on the information that Brad pointed out here. U.S.-based crypto companies, since the election, have gone absolutely insane. And like I said, guys, earlier this year, I made it a point to turn our attention towards U.S.-based crypto companies. So much so that I created a neat little watch list on coinmarketcap.com, top U.S. crypto companies. There are about 20 to 25 listed here, but I got them sorted by 7-day gains. And you can see XRP up 80%, Stellar 81%, Hedera 59%, Algorand 30%, Sweet 26%, Render, Near, Gala, all in double digits, guys. So what this triggered was an awakening. Without getting too over the top with it, an awakening in the sense leaning to the point that Brad made about the pressure that the SEC had been placing on the industry. They all realized at the same time that we may now have a window. So all of the companies, and I'll keep scrolling here because there may be some other names you might be familiar with. Keep an eye out for Energy Web Token. I'm just being honest, guys. They do have a relationship with Ripple and the XRP ledger. But this is a list of U.S.-based entities that I found. These are U.S.-based technologies that he mentioned that, as he said, have had a very impressive week and a half since the election, guys. So I say that this is going to have massive ramifications because it's not just the crypto-based companies. It's not just the blockchain companies, guys. Taking a look at Crypto Slate, they give us a list of Web3 companies. We'll classify them like that across North America. And I also found this report too that we will dive in. This will be our main event, guys. We'll tie it all back in. But take a look at these crypto Web3 companies here. It's quite an interesting list. Quite the interesting list. The point I'm trying to make here, these companies have been waiting for some hint at a potential future where the regulatory environment for crypto in the United States was a lot brighter than what it is. What I imagine happening now, I've been hearing that Gensler is supposed to resign or maybe even be fired upon Inauguration Day when Trump gets into office. Once that happens, ladies and gentlemen, strictly speaking for XRP, if it hasn't begun already, everyone who was holding during that case are going to come rushing back. On top of the people who have been watching XRP at an institutional level, but were waiting for the regulatory window to open. Everyone is in anticipation that the window is going to open. What we have seen happen in the market is a surge of retail, right? New retail that had been sitting on the sidelines. They are reacting to Trump becoming president and the anticipation that his policies and his rules are going to be more favorable towards the industry. That's just the first wave, though. As we get closer to his inauguration day and things really start rolling, a lot more people are going to come back. Now, the other side to this involves the traders, because with all of this extra liquidity from this new wave of retail investor, followed by the previous wave who were initially involved with XRP during the during the case in 2020, they're going to come back into XRP. So you're going to have all of this momentum heading into XRP for a few good months, ladies and gentlemen. And then if the announcements start rolling out, Ripple does IPO. This is only the beginning, folks. This is truly the beginning. Again, to summarize my point, we've had an influx of retail, new retail, people who are coming in off of the FOMO. Bitcoin is approaching 100K. Let me get into some of these assets. And because of the track records that have been developed over the last couple of years, the new people that are coming in, they are being blown away by what has been going on. Things that we have been tracking happening over the last few months. They're getting blown away by this. That extra liquidity is being tracked by the traders. They're going to see all that extra liquidity, and then we have the long positions start to come in. It's going to cause a shift in the market dynamics, folks. I recall a phenomenon that is still odd to me to this day, but I think it's officially going to change. The Asian markets tend to kick on in the evening. And in the past, when we're having rallies, you'll notice that you'll go to bed, Bitcoin's price is it's like, what's say, 81,000? Then you wake up, it's at 92. That's all that Asian money. Looser regulations, a lot more companies, a lot more friendlier environment. What happens when the United States is much the same? So now you got that same influx during the day as well as during the evening. We have to be entering a new era in this market, guys. That is going to change. This is going to change a lot, not just from an adoption perspective, but from a market dynamic perspective. This is all that I got. As the moment he said that, all of this began to click, guys. Now, it isn't just that. A report from 2021, Block Data, shows us the companies that are involved, the US-based, some global companies, that are either researching, have pilots going, in development, or in production of Web3-related, blockchain-related products. And again, The number one reason stopping them from going full steam ahead was the regulatory environment in the United States. What this is like it's a rubber band that has been being pulled back since 2020. Honestly, all of this really started in 2020, but it's been pulled back and it's steadily being pulled back, and it's been pulled back for the last 4 years. All right. In anticipation of clearer regulatory rules, frameworks, these companies did not stop researching. So much so, guys, that they're forming coalitions. Look, the next leg of your research in this crypto journey is going to involve LinkedIn. Please know this. You search up blockchain groups in the United States, you get over 5,000 results. These blockchain groups are what you're going to see as the groups that are promoting initiatives that are coming up with new novel ideas to bring awareness to Web3 and blockchain. We just covered a story a couple weeks ago what Detroit is finna do. And when we take a look at this blockchain report, the state of Web3, you're going to see we ain't alone. Things are moving, guys. But to the point of adding LinkedIn to your research, take a look at this. Blockchain Chamber of Commerce, Atlanta, Georgia. American Blockchain and Cryptocurrency Association, Washington, D.C. Blockchain Intelligence Group, Vancouver, British Columbia. Blockchain Advisory Group, New York. Texas Blockchain Council, Dallas. I could keep going, guys. There are several pages here. Before I press record, I was on page 5. But you can see these entities now have a pathway, a open pathway for them to pursue any type of crypto-related product, blockchain-related product that they see fit, or support initiatives that they see applicable to the industry. This triggered something here, is what I'm getting at, guys. And when he made that point, I had to share with y'all what I had been watching in terms of U.S. crypto development, because I saw this point coming. And now that we are here, I got to get y'all ready for the wave. Cambrian explosion. All right. To that point, guys, a few months ago, remember when we found this up? U.S. Blockchain Coalition, founded back in June of 2021, peak bull run. They are the only national organization with a multi-state focused approach, leveraging hyperlocal relationships in over 46 states to seek consistent policies at the state level through alignment on public policy and legislative priorities. Led by representatives from Texas, Washington, California, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Pennsylvania, the USBC highlights and catalogs use cases, provides accessible education to policymakers, builds relationships with regulatory bodies and agencies, and proactively seeks new partnerships with industry, government, academia, entrepreneurs, and investors to meaningfully grow the sector across the country. Now, when we first stumbled upon this, I ain't even gonna lie to you. I was kind of like, all right, took it with a grain of salt. We'll see what comes from it. Then I'm fishing around this morning. Oh, man, I woke my brother up with this one. He said, wow. That's what he hit me with. He said, wow. I'll be throwing him for a loop. I do apologize, man. But, hey, you see how it gets, right? GBBC, the Global Blockchain Business Council, and the U.S. Blockchain Business Council, see, they merged in November of last year. But the Global Blockchain Business Council is an entity that has been around this space for years, ladies and gentlemen. Algorand is a member, Ripple is a member, Hedera, Stellar Development, Quant, Polkadot, Cardano, the list goes on. A lot of people are tied in with the Global Blockchain Business Council. So the U.S. Blockchain Council, they merged with them last year, so they pulled in all of their resources. They tapped in all together. According to what the documentation states now, the GBBC is now strictly the U.S. Blockchain Business Council. So with that verifies the information in this research. Now, they cover the entire statewide, and you can see the contributors to the research, GBBC, DCG, Digital Currency Group, went through a lot of heat a few years ago. Shocked that they're still around, man. Block, that's Jack Dorsey's. Made up of Square, Cash App, Spiral, Tidal, Hove, right? Coinbase, and then an association fairly new to me, Washington Technology Industry Association. Gonna have to dig into them, but that's the list here. You can see Coinbase as well if I hadn't mentioned them. But they break this thing down. This is a report that summarizes use cases, adoption, research efforts, who's hiring, who's not, all in the state of Michigan. And this is current. This is 2024 data, ladies and gentlemen. So the timing of this is absolutely perfect. Now, we're going to start in the Midwest because that's where your boy is at. You feel me? And I really want to highlight to you what we're doing here in the mitten. We're going to double back to some of these other states, of course. To be completely honest with you, this is going to get its own separate episode because not only do we have university research initiatives, companies getting involved here, the hiring landscape, but there are sections that talk about startups. And I'm just curious if any of these startups have developed a token or are in the process of a token. That's how you find hidden gems, folks. Let's scroll down to Michigan because they have been working on things that I have been pointing at for a number of months as well, guys. Auto industry incumbents are driving Web3 activity. We are the capital of automobiles in the nation. All right. And the next era should be the globalization of that idea. So I find it interesting that amongst the 95 startups out of 103 companies, you have a couple of them that are focused on mobility. That would be the other term here, driver demo. Again, still need to dig into these companies individually, guys. I'm giving you this information oftentimes as I'm finding it. So we're going to double back here. But my favorite part of this section is actually when it talks about the incumbents and what they're doing. 29 of top 1,000 public companies headquartered, of which 8 companies have significant Web3 investment or are implementing developing Web3 technology. And we have down here Ford, General Motors out in Detroit, Kellogg, Ally, Kelly, Domino's Pizza, the self-driving cars. Okay, making the move to blockchain. On top of that, government and academia, guys, I love seeing this. University of Michigan and Michigan State and Wayne State University. I grew up in the area of Wayne State University. My aunt, my cousins, my whole family graduated from Wayne State. The generation that came before me came up out of Wayne State University. My generation, a lot of my siblings, went to Michigan State University. You feel me? I didn't get that opportunity, but I was employed there for a number of years, so to me, it felt the same. It felt the same way. But I love seeing that the top tier institutions in my state are leading this. Now, seeing this report, y'all, really changed the whole landscape for 2025 for me because now I have to start pursuing these people. Now I have a blueprint of what our groundwork can look like here. U of M, Michigan State, Wayne State, they're researching into, let me see here, supply chain and intellectual property management on DLT. I'll tell you something else that blew my mind. We're going to scroll down to a couple other states too because Minnesota's got an interesting prop as well. But I discovered that MSU was involved with blockchain a few years ago through my research around VeChain. Mind-blowing, mind-blowing. Let's talk about Minnesota though, guys. Their aim seems to be healthcare in Web3. Incumbents investing, developing, and implementing include Target, General Mills, Ecolab, US Bancorp, Best Buy. Universities include University of Minnesota, Minnesota State, Cloud State University. They're looking to get into top level, let's see, private blockchain protocols for DIL tactical networks. Yeah, this is all healthcare related for sure. Additional activities, 80 plus job postings currently from several companies, Compute North, General Dynamics, BCG, Halliburton, IBM, and others. This is the, y'all should be, U.S. Blockchain Council, you should be selling this. It should be sold for thousands of dollars because this information is priceless. Let's jump to Ohio, though, guys. Their landscape is a bit more diverse. So we have incumbents investing, developing, implementing Marathon, Procter & Gamble, Victoria's Secret, Goodyear, Avery Dennison, Hedera Governing Council member. All the more reason why we need to pay attention to these U.S.-based crypto companies. Sherwin-Williams, Victoria's Secret. I used to work there. 2012, I was a security guard, head of loss prevention. Darn right. What killed me the most about my Victoria's Secret gig was their teenage boys that were coming in and stealing underwear. Not girls, boys. Jesus. But guys, this just gives you an idea of what's coming. So when Brad is making points like that, don't take them lightly. Research them things, because he has a viewpoint of this space from a level that we can't access, honestly, and that's fine. That's totally fine, but we can receive it from him when he chooses to appear on Fox Business. Like I said, he seems to be the only one with that plug. Everybody else show up on Bloomberg, but he get Fox. But let's go over to the West Coast before we get out of here, man. We need to talk about the leader in the country. It's California, obviously, Silicon Valley here. And when I was researching this list of U.S. crypto first movers, the majority of them are based in San Francisco. Large majority out of San Francisco. So, again, not necessarily surprising, Silicon Valley. But California's focus, man, unsurprisingly leads the nation in Web3 with 2,000 plus companies and 18 unicorns. Incumbents investing, developing, and implementing include Alphabet, Meta, Disney, Qualcomm, Chevron, Wells Fargo, Intel, Visa, HP, Coinbase, Adobe. Y'all better, because people catching up to Adobe. It's a graphic design joke. Don't worry about it. eBay, AMD, Nvidia, Block again. We already know what Visa has been up to. Airbnb, that'll be interesting to see where they implement. That would really be interesting to see where they're implementing. Federal agencies included Department of Defense, National Science Foundation, Department of Energy. That's why I told you to keep an eye on Energy Web. All right. Active universities. University of California, Berkeley, LA, San Diego, Santa Cruz, Stanford, University of Southern California. So Stanford for one. And I just learned this the other day. I was watching the podcast, Terrence Howard, Billy Carson. Mind blowing, right? But he mentioned that Stanford University has their own funding. They're an independently funded university. So that means that they don't have the same barriers as some other universities when it comes to getting funding to do blockchain-related projects. I just found that to be interesting. And when we look at hiring, I'm going to have to zoom in on the way for this one. But folks, outside of it, look, buying an asset isn't the only way you can invest in crypto. In this industry, in blockchain. And please don't get stuck on that. Look at the salary ranges. Bitcoin Regulatory Council, $125K to $150K a year. Head of Bitcoin Engineering, same story. Going down the list, some entry-level stuff. Project Manager, Trading, Business Operation Manager, Senior Software Engineer. The entry-level stuff, you're making 6 figures plus a year. To me, this is better than holding any of these assets. But like I said, guys, I'm going to dig into this report because we might have content coming out of this report for the next 6 months, to be completely honest with you. And speaking of the future, we're going to end with a little speculation here, man. Look, got to, right? So I found this thing in 2022, end of 2022. First thing I did was I shared it with my wife. I said, hey, look at this. It's an interesting chart, right? Now, Samuel Brenner, Parents Wouldn't Make Money. You can Google that term and it will bring up a heap ton of articles that will explain to you what this chart means, what it represents. To summarize, it's supposed to track the boom and bust cycles of commodities, the market, the economy across the world, right? I find this so interesting, and you will find this too, that this thing lines up with COVID. Lines up with 2008, lines up with, I want to say, the oil thing in the 80s. Hits on quite a few events here. But I've held on to it just to see. Because, mind you, when I found it, we were in 2022. And what compelled me the most was the fact that in 2023, we were supposed to bottom. So I'm like, all right, if that happens, oh yeah, then now I'm going to be keeping my eye on this. What happened in 2023? Seems like we've bottomed, right? Now, this is supposed to not just represent crypto, but economies, markets in general. It was originally for grain and wheat. This is the most powerful thing I've seen in my life, ladies and gentlemen. And what's so crazy is, let me pull up this piece here so we can zoom in a little better, because long story short, we're about here-ish, 2023. And apparently there's supposed to be a 3-year period of growth here going into 2026. Right about 2020, right about 2008. Mr. Brenner, I'm glad you made this, man. I really am. But I'll leave y'all with that, guys. It's Sunday. It's the afternoon, man. Go and watch some football or something. Enjoy your family, guys. And before you do that, I must implore you. First, let me thank the 1,000 people who have downloaded this PDF already. I'm so glad that I could be here as one of the few guys that'll help guide you in the proper direction in this space. I want to thank you once again. But you need to download 5 Verticals of Crypto, man. DHN Crypto Starter Kit in the description. It's absolutely free to give you the best understanding of this crypto space. These 5 verticals: enterprise crypto adoption, DeFi, gaming, digital ownership, emerging technologies, macro level events, which is basically what we're experiencing now. This is how not only I choose to translate what happens in this space through this channel, but this is just how you can understand the industry as a whole, because these are the main things that are coming out of it right now. These are the overarching terms. Criteria to evaluate crypto assets: social media activity, network, marketability are must-haves, especially entering this next era, guys. And I just showed you the bullpen of US-based crypto companies that are waiting to hit the market. This is going to change dynamics. Something else that I have been saying for a number of years: we are going to reach a point in this space where the outlook, how we evaluate these assets, will change, and that will affect which assets begin to rise. To bring it back to the point that Brad made, since the election, the top performing assets in crypto have been in the United States. We coming. You have to excuse my emotion, man. I've been here for a minute and I've been waiting for this time. So if you're here now, I want to welcome you, and I want to tell you, buckle your freaking seatbelt. With that, guys, y'all know what time it is. Remember, download your DHN Starter Kit. Tools and links and resources that I've used for a number of years will be in the pinned comment. And always remember, if that money is digital, so is the hustle.